Hi, I'm Allie Lord.
Hi, I'm Chris Lord.
Last year, we launched the Lord Life Hacks, and it's based off a concept called the Wheel of Life. And it's truly a wheel where you rate yourself in 7 areas of life, 1 to 10. And the concept teaches you how to live the most abundant life.
So today we're going to jump into it and talk about love life.
Okay, Chris, what's the most important thing in marriage to you?
So, in my opinion, and this is in all aspects of relationships, but it's communication.
I agree. I agree. Communication.
Communication and respect, I should say.
I'd say respect. So I feel like mine is number 1 is respect and then communication. And I like to talk, but it's communication.
Totally.
Okay. So we've been married. Do you remember how many years? We talked about it this morning.
Almost 22. And I have to remind you usually how long it's been.
It's true. So 22 years, and we've been together since we were 12 years old. So we're going on 30 years of being together. And so through this journey of being together, I remember when we did our engaged encounter and getting married in the Catholic Church, having us go to a counselor, fill out a 160 question questionnaire. But when I look at it, I think it stems back to communication and respect and always talking about topics instead of just assuming the other person knows the answer. So I think that that's huge. But in this journey of relationship, I want to ask you, going into, what do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned of us being married and how we stay together? 22 years.
Yeah. So, I feel like the 5 love languages, that, a lot of people have heard of them. But that is huge because what you're looking for and what I'm looking for could be totally opposite.
Yeah.
And you can, I could be doing everything I think perfectly. And you're like, why are you doing this? This is annoying to me. I'm not looking for that. And just because that's what I wanted, it needs to be what you're looking for, not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So, learning what your love language is, like acts of service.
Yeah.
So doing nice things for you, where mine might be, words of affirmation or whatever.
Or romance.
Or romance or, whatever it might be. It's doing what the other person is looking for.
Yeah.
That's what you really need to have a healthy relationship.
The book, The 5 Love Languages, is probably the number 1 book. You can use it in our love life with your kids, in business. And my poor dad here, he's always my guinea pig. And I had him read this book. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I'll say, my dad is not someone that says I love you regularly. But I said, read the book. And by reading the book, I think it's completely transformed his marriage of 50 years. So I agree with you. I do also agree that the 5 love languages is huge. I think with date nights and really getting date nights scheduled is huge, right? For us, we took a calendar, the big ass calendar.
Yep.
And if you haven't seen the big ass calendar, it's called, and it's big, it's life size. And every box has a size for a sticky, and we've color coded stickies. And so knowing that pink is date night, and we literally put it on there, and then it goes in our Outlook.
Yep.
And so it's scheduled. So it's truly an appointment, which sounds...
In date night, is not date night. A lot of people think date night is cool, I'm going to go to happy hour, then we're going to go to dinner, and then we're going to go catch a movie or whatever it might be. Our date night is, it could be an hour.
It could be 1 hour, but it's always something where we have to communicate.
Yeah.
And we have to be outside of the house.
Right.
And what we've done is,
a walk like that. That's we'll do a walk oftentimes where it's hey, we just had an uninterrupted walk. Mm-hmm. That could be our date night, but that's you can get so busy and so scheduled that that's so important is just having that time. I would say once a weekend a year where you can get away, just the two of you, and you can truly connect, because sometimes that date night might be, it's nice to get away and
we're up against baseball though.
Yeah, totally.
And so you have to
you're worried. You're thinking about this, or you're thinking about what happened last at work or whatever it might be. Whereas, and a lot of people can relate where it might take you a day just to unwind and be like, okay. And, now I can actually truly connect, we can truly connect with each other at that point.
Absolutely. I recognized how important it was. We did this activity many years, I think it was 2012 before our first Sawyer was born.
Yeah.
And we did the Wheel of Life, and you go through and you rate yourself in all these areas. And throughout the years, we've done it many times, our love life has ebbed and flowed, right?
Yeah.
Where we'll be a 10 and then sometimes we'll be a 5. And being able to look at that regularly, I know has helped me tremendously, because you really ask yourself, like, inward, am I giving it my all? And that's something that I think a lot of people don't think about. I heard a saying a long time ago, and if you were to give just 25% to your marriage, just 25% more, versus if you think times are tough, times are really tough right now, would it be easier not to be together? Well, think about all the effort you have to put into dating. If it's an online app or going out and meeting people.
Yeah, you've talked about that, where, we'll know people where they'll get divorced or break up with their significant other, whatever it might be. And it's like, guess what? Now they're going on dates. Now they're putting in all this effort. They're, and it's like, had you have taken a little bit of that effort and put it towards your current relationship, how would it have changed?
Yeah, for sure. It's, people grow. That's life. If you're not growing, you're dying. And so the goal is to grow together, to grow parallel instead of growing apart. And I think the 25% more, just bringing you guys back together to run parallel,
right?
That's huge. So.
And, another thing that I've heard is like, sometimes I know, like, I hear Allie's on the phone a lot at work. And
really?
Yeah. And I could tell, like, just by her face, like, what kind of a conversation is this? It might be something where I know she, it's intense, right? And it's like, okay, I need to give more at this point in time.
Yeah.
Because I could tell you don't have it in you, right?
Yeah.
And vice versa. So it's like, you have to also be understanding that, like, I mean, sometimes you got to give extra.
Yeah.
For that other person, or it's like,
you never told me that. Now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know you're listening.
But it's the same thing. Like, if you're in a really bad mood, or if I'm in a really bad mood, like, you're really good at this. You've always been good at this. Like, if I'm in a bad mood, then you're cheery and happy, which can be annoying when you're in the bad mood at the time. But it's like, okay, that's great. But if you're in a bad mood and then I'm in a bad mood,
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Right.
Okay. So when I fight or I get angry, I have to truly, like, say every word.
Yes.
Like, talk through the whole thing from before it started until the end. And you. I
mean, I can get over stuff quickly. And so it's like, okay, I understand. Like, let's move on. Mm-hmm. I can be, sorry, I did that. And I'm truly sorry that I might have done something, but you want to sometimes know, like, why? Why did you, like, how did we get here? And
what were you thinking about? And how did it make you feel? And what were you wearing?
Right.
And why did you choose to do that? Right. Like, and dissect all of it. Where I think it's healthy. The most important thing is understanding in the relationship how each other does have conflict, right? And how we process and how we get over things, and then using respect, right? To respect each other's way of processing and doing all of it. And we have gone to sleep mad.
Yeah, lots of times we've gone to sleep mad.
I think I've been mad for a couple days.
Yeah, my parents have been married over 50 years, right? And my mom was like, I've gone to bed mad so many times. Yeah. And it's like, I think that for some people that might be, maybe that is like, they cannot do that and they will not go to sleep mad. Like, I feel like that's probably good advice. Going to sleep mad is not good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's taking and, it's giving the other person what they need. Ultimately, to me, that's the sacrifice that you have to make to have a good relationship. That's giving that 25%, where it's like, oh, sometimes it's Allie, like, we've talked about this for 2 hours and I'm over it. Like, I'm done. But it's like, I know that's what you need is to continue to, mull it over, make sure that we're good and go from there.
Yeah, I agree.